So as my yoga classes and meditations are moving online for the foreseeable future, I'm going to show you how you can get the most out of your home practice on meditations. So there is an advantage to practicing at home that you wouldn't get from face-to-face classes, and that is that you can control your environment. So each individual has different needs and wants from their practice. So practicing at home allows you to experiment a little bit and kind of see what feels right for you. The style of yoga I teach is power vinyasa. So I recommend choosing clothing that isn't too restrictive, that'll allow you to have movement. I also recommend purchasing a yoga mat. It is so important to have a sacred space, and if you don't have a lot of room in your house, that is okay. As long as you can roll out your mat, that is all the space you need to be able to practice. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. I know Home Bargains have mats. TK Maxx have really good mats. My yoga blocks are actually from TK Maxx, the ones I use at home. What else? Amazon, eBay. Have a look online. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but I just think it's important that that is your time to dedicate. This is your safe space on your mat to dedicate to your practice. So make use of props. If props are your thing, go for it. Some people don't enjoy using props, and that's perfectly fine, but if you're one of the people that do enjoy using props, you can. So this is a chance for you to experiment and maybe try blocks if you think, you know, you're finding some postures challenging, or if you want to make them more challenging. Props are really useful for this. So blocks and straps. If you don't have a strap, you can use the belt on your dressing gown. You know, you don't have to go out there and buy things specifically for your practice. For our relaxation, our shavasana at the end of a practice and in meditations will usually be either lying down or sitting. So for meditations, I recommend things like eye masks, but I know some people feel a bit claustrophobic using them, so if that's the case, then you don't have to. But if you want to, you can use an eye mask. You can also use a pillow if we're sitting to prop yourself up on. This is a meditation pillow, but you can just use a pillow in your house. Also, if you're one of these people that feel the cold, which I am, using a blanket for your relaxation or meditation can really help. Make sure you choose a space in your house that is free from distractions when you are ready to practice and meditate. So tell family members what you're going to do, shut yourself off in a room, turn your phone onto silent or switch it off. Put the TV off. Just make sure that this is just you in the room, everything's peaceful and quiet, and you know you're not going to be interrupted. Make sure you create a nice calm environment to practice in. So behind me you will see I have put on a water fountain if you enjoy listening to that, if it makes you feel calm and peaceful. You can also light candles. If you have air diffusers, you can do that. I have lit incense as well, so I enjoy white sage and nag champa. So there's lots of different things you can do just to make sure it's nice and peaceful. You can dim the light in if that feels good, and you can also choose your favourite music to practice along to, so something that'll make you feel good. But I will be recommending playlists that you can play from Spotify if you are unsure of what to play. My number one rule for practicing is to breathe. So remember, when we're practicing, always come back to the breath. Make sure you're never holding the breath. If you are holding the breath, try and figure out why you're doing that. You're maybe taking a posture too far, which is not good. So that kind of falls in line with my next tip, is to feel. My yoga practices are all centered around how we feel. So I theme each class and choose postures and meditations that will fall in line with that. So right from the start, I know what I want you to be thinking about and feeling, but you can also set your own intention. So it could be you want to think a certain way or feel a certain way, and that's what you want to do in that moment in your practice. So it's up to you. You can use my suggestions, or things might come into your head. Maybe we've all got different circumstances in our lives. We're going through different things. So if there's anything you want to resolve, you can use that time to work through it and really connect with how you're feeling during your practice. So listen to your body and practice love and kindness to yourself. So if your body is screaming no, then don't do it and step back. We've all got different body shapes. Some things we might feel really uncomfortable and someone else would really enjoy. We've all got different injuries and things. So as you're at home, the teacher isn't physically there with you, so you just have to be more mindful about when you're practicing and your body. So you might feel a bit of discomfort in certain poses, and that's okay. You know, if we're aiming to make changes within our body and stretch out stress and tension from our bodies and remove that, then you might feel a bit of discomfort. The shoulder area is where we store a lot of our stress. So if you are feeling particularly anxious while you're practicing or before you're practicing, you might feel a bit of discomfort, and that's fine. So if it's discomfort in the muscle, then that's not so bad. But if it is more from joints, you need to try to recognize where the pain's coming from. So if we're in a posture and you feel like it's your knee joint is not liking it, then please come out of it right away. And if you feel like it is really sore in your muscles, then come out of it and take a step back. So a little bit of discomfort is okay, but if your body really is screaming no, then stop. And be grateful. So really make the most of this opportunity that we've got at home to work on bettering yourself, mind, body and spirit. This is a really uncertain time right now, but use the opportunity to your advantage. So don't spend days on end sitting on the sofa, stuffing your face and watching Netflix. You can do that, but we need a bit of balance. So whether you're doing a 1 hour practice with me or one of my meditations that might be 20 minutes long, just make sure you can dedicate some time to yourself, to work on yourself. So keep your body as healthy as possible and keep your mind in check. So after this all, you can blossom into a better person and use this as a stepping stone to open up doors for yourself in the future. And at the end of every live stream, I will be hanging around to chat with you all. So if you've got any concerns or if you've got feelings that you want to kind of voice out there, then go for it. Or if you just want to have a chat, then we will all be there together. We're going to be sticking together throughout this all. So we're all feeling as best we can feel in this uncertainty. So yeah, have a chat and feel like you're part of a community, because that is so important. I think if we're stuck indoors, we can feel really isolated. So to kind of minimize that feeling, it's really important to get involved in a community, and you will be very valued in my community. And for every live stream, I will be giving you warnings. So I'll try and give you at least 1 hour's warning, so you can set up your environment to how you want it to be. So if you want to dim the lights, if you want to close curtains, put on nice music, turn the heating up a little bit. Although my practices, if it is, depends what we're doing. Some of them I can kind of take back and it could be more nurturing. Other ones we're going to build up some heat in our body. So I will try and give you a description of what we're doing, just so you can kind of set your scene as best you can, choose music that will be appropriate for it. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and I just want you to experiment and have fun with this, because if you're new to yoga, people sort of often overthink what they're doing, but this is a very personal thing, no matter if you're doing it at home or you're doing it in a group class setting. It's very personal. So that is why I always offer lots of variations, because one day you might feel like you have no energy, so you really want like a more nurturing practice. So you'll maybe start just stripping it back just to some of the easier postures, and then some days you might feel like you've got loads of energy and you want to really go for it. So it's all circumstantial, and it depends how much sleep you've had, what you've been eating, loads of different reasons. So you use this time to create a nice practice for yourself that's going to make you feel amazing at the end of it, and help you through any difficulties that you might be facing in your real life. And then that'll allow you to apply the lessons that I'm going to teach you to your life. So it's not just your practice doesn't end on the mat. So I really hope to see you along in my live streams. If you haven't done yoga before and you're a bit intimidated by group classes, then please make the most of this opportunity. This is the perfect time to get involved. No one can see you, so if you want to step out of some poses, jump into child's pose, you really don't have to think about it. And yoga is very much about the ego, and we're trying to eradicate that, so this is a good stepping stone. And then once we're able to start in classes again, if you are local to me, you can come along to my group classes. So any questions, please let me know, and yeah, let's just have fun and get ourselves feeling amazing.